Hey friends, welcome back to the channel with more Westworld. This is Season 3, Episode 4, and I'm excited to continue, but after this episode, we're going to be halfway through the season already. So, yeah, shorter season. I feel like we still have so much more to cover. Definitely want to delve more into Dolores and Caleb, and them getting closer and working together. Hale infiltrating Delos. I don't know if that comes back to bite her in the butt. We haven't even seen William yet. This is the 4th episode and we haven't seen one of our main characters. That's so odd. Bernard is looking for Maeve. Maeve is trapped by Serac. Serac wants to use her against this Dolores in this battle. But yeah, a lot of interesting storylines. Excited to continue. If you want to watch the full reaction, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Otherwise, let's get started.
I know what's real. I know what's real.
I don't think you do, buddy.
My choices are my own.
Oh, so you chose to kill me?
What?
You can't have it both ways, Dad.
Would you even know if you'd been changed? Huh? If you were just another machine?
Definitely feels like somebody's messing with him. Is that even him? Is it him? I don't know. Oh, no. Ah.
I see you're making the most of your sabbatical.
Was that Hale's voice?
Who? Are you with me now? Good. Because it's time to come back to reality. This is the company you spent a lifetime building. You're willing to let someone steal it from you?
He's not stealing it from me, Charlotte.
So he's gonna enter this fight
We have a
too.
deep pockets investor who can help us take the company private so Serac can't touch us. You'd maintain your controlling interests. I've got 2 of our execs waiting outside to escort you to headquarters now.
Why not just build another William and keep this one locked up and then...
Come back, William.
Ooh.
I don't know where to start. It's not really my style. So who's it that we're going after?
The person who took your future.
I have some business for you. It's proxy for the offshore accounts.
We can deal with this later. If you suddenly want to be in charge of your own financial affairs, I'm happy to relinquish them.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Michael? It's me, Olivia.
What the fuck are you doing?
What the heck? Caleb's in it now. Can't back out at this point.
Give me your forearm.
What?
You need the encryption key in his blood to pull this off. Now it started degrading once we exposed it to oxygen. You have 20 minutes left.
Bring yourself back online.
If you'd really wanted to impress me, you could have thought to bring me to Paris.
Paris, for instance. I would have loved to show it to you,
Why can't you show her?
but alas, there's nothing left to see.
What?
Humanity's biggest threat has always been itself. So I created the most comprehensive picture of human behavior ever seen. Imagine my surprise when I discovered that someone had put together a more complete portrait. A map of the human mind.
He's playing a bigger game. I thought he was worried about them as a
I'd like
threat.
to show you something.
What is this place?
The
This-
divergence. Where the future I had so carefully planned ended.
The divergence. This is Bernard's home, right?
I need to know where you sent her. 要杀要剐，随你便。
What are you doing to him?
I'm showing him what becomes of his family. If he helps us, and if he doesn't.
他是好人，我带他去病伤人。我只知道这些。
The mortician. No!
But for you, both heaven and hell could be very real.
And if I do find Dolores, why would I bother bringing her back to you?
Your mind is complicated, Maeve, but not so complicated that we couldn't build enough switch into it.
I need to make a transfer on behalf of my client, Liam Dempsey.
May I have your client's hash key? It's highly unusual to make a transfer of this magnitude. The tax exposure for your client would be substantial.
Well, if my client wanted people prying into his personal affairs, he would have gone to a regular bank. Your status.
Of course. I didn't mean to be indiscreet. Though, given the size of the transaction, we must do one final authentication before releasing them.
Please work, please work, please work, please work. Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Tritter.
Good evening, gents. Could you help me? I'm looking for someone called the Mortician. Let's try that again, shall we?
Give him something to keep him quiet.
All I want is information on someone to whom you sold a new identity. She's hard to forget. Golden blonde hair, a little intense.
Laura Espin. The blood I sold her belonged to a girl named Laura Espin.
And what about the others she was with? Whose blood did you give them?
So I sent her to the Yakuza. They helped your friend with those bodies.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like an introduction.
You're gonna walk right in here. Oh.
Liam Dempsey? What do you do?
Oh.
Go, Maeve. Enter diagnostic mode. What's wrong with you? She hasn't changed him yet. Move. Now. Okay.
Intercepted. Oh, damn.
Hands are up.
Get out of here. Hold off.
Funny seeing you here.
I like the new look. It's nothing personal.
Likewise.
Oh.
Oh. Well, you're very pretty, aren't you?
She can make it malfunction.
You're a bit old to need something that aims for you.
Oh. Oh. It looks very similar to the liquid they used to burr the hosts. Wait, what?
Hello, Maeve.
Because she gave him up. Dolores put him here. What?
He's coming with me. You're one of us. I don't know what you're talking about. What the hell are you doing?
Run. Run before I put a hole in your paunchy little head.
No. That's not you. Dolores stole 5 pearls. Who did she put inside you?
I thought she would have replaced Liam. But she's keeping him in play. Who are you? Really? Who would she have trusted?
You've been spying on me.
As a precaution. I didn't really need to, of course. Because I know you. You don't even have a choice in your own grief.
Who the fuck are you?
Your oldest friend.
Dolores.
What?
The other pearls. I assumed you brought someone else.
can't let Serac use you against us.
Oh. Oh.
Get the fuck off of me! Get the fuck off of me!
Don't hurt him. It's okay. I'm okay. It's not his fault. He's sick.
You work for me, goddammit! You work for me!
William, I told you. These aren't Delos employees. Now that you're being committed, I have to inform you that the board will deem you incompetent, and all of your voting shares will transfer to the current acting president. I promised I'd let you destroy yourself one day. Here we are.
Oh, he's gonna cut it out.
佐藤さん、釈迦持ちの奴らが表に。これ以上守りきれません。早く逃げてください。
奴らこいつをつけてきたか。
That's what that was?
I guess there is some justice after all. Ah, but the maze is about understanding. You still don't even understand who you are.
Me.
Welcome to the end of the game.
Wow. What the heck? I really liked William's reintroduction into the show. We've been missing him for 3 episodes now. And last season, back when he was thinking that Emily was a host, I already thought he was quite off his rocker. But here, even though he does need mental help, the reason he's being taken to a mental health institution is completely fabricated. Because he needs help, but Dolores as Hale tricking or manipulating the truth and getting him locked up for, it's just getting him locked up under false pretenses. And I mean, he sees a vision of Dolores in that mental health asylum institution, and he sees Emily earlier on, which I'm not sure, because is he a host now and they're in his brain like Ford was in Bernard's head last season, or is he hallucinating? Because it's fully possible that he's a host-human hybrid now, because in the post-credit scene of last season, we did see that host Emily was testing William for fidelity, but we just don't know when that scene takes place. That has not been placed for us exactly. And that hallucination or that presence of Emily in William's head early on in the episode, William kept trying to keep the voices out and say that he's not programmed, that he is in control. So I guess he's referencing the idea that humans follow their own programming too, like we saw with that in that library with Logan, Bernard, and Dolores. William was saying that he's in control, like there's no set of rules that he lives by, that he wants to feel like he's in control. And this vision of Emily asking him, "Oh, so you chose to kill me?" That is so cold. I mean, she had some great lines, just like torturing him almost. Are you willing and evil, or blameless and desperately enslaved? There was no good choice there, and it was really, really interesting watching her needle him like that. Speaking of William and his realization of figuring out Hale was Dolores, though, all the hosts Dolores brought are Dolores, all of them. Oh, what the heck. I spent so long theorizing who they were, and turns out, oops, all Dolores. That's a reference to a breakfast brand of cereal called Oops All Berries, which I didn't even know about until like 2 years ago. Never got to eat all the like sweet brands of cereal as a kid, but there were these berry pieces in Captain Crunch, apparently, and a cereal where it's only berries is called Oops All Berries. I guess if I have to explain the joke this much, it's not funny anymore, but oops, all Dolores. Anyway, it certainly makes me view her scenes differently, because when she was comforting Hale after Hale was like cutting herself up, like Dolores was spooning herself last episode. Okay, that's interesting. If you had another version of yourself, would you spoon them? I don't know. That line, "No one knows me better than you, no one knows you better than I." Well, yeah, evidently, since you're the same damn person. I thought it was... So Teddy's not in play yet, though. So those 5 pearls, 1 was Bernard, 4 are different people. So one is the security chief, one is Musashi, one is Hale, and then we have one more that we haven't seen yet, right? It's interesting because it's an interesting choice that she makes, because she must really trust herself and her own abilities. Because if I was myself, if I was her, wouldn't I want more people working with me, like each with their own strengths and weaknesses? Or does she have no weaknesses? I don't know. So yeah, one is Bernard, one is Hale, one is the security chief Connells, one is Musashi, which leaves one of them left out there, which the Musashi one confuses me a little bit because he got a position of power within the Yakuza. It seems like he was like the leader of the Yakuza. So it's not that she killed the previous leader and replaced him. She put Musashi in charge somehow. I guess it's possible that Lee Sizemore took the face of a Yakuza boss to put on Musashi in Westworld, or in Shogun World, because he was lazy and didn't want to design it, maybe. But otherwise, how did he just infiltrate the Yakuza and become a leader? That seems very odd. But yeah, it also, the fact that Dolores only brought versions of herself, copies of herself, also says a lot about Caleb, because he's the only person who is working with Dolores willingly, right? Like, the Yakuza don't know they're working for her through Musashi, and yeah, Caleb's the only person Dolores trusts, it's apparently, host or human. Granted, he doesn't know that she's a host and that she's manipulating him too, but like, she could have picked any number of hosts to ally with when she was in the park, and she only took herself, and she chose him. And I think it's very interesting that she didn't take Maeve as well, even if it was just to take her out of play so she couldn't interfere with her own plans. I guess she did take out Bernard, and she knew he was coming. When she was Connells said that they're here earlier than we thought, which, I don't know, it's odd. So they're all Dolores. It's interesting. I mean, they're all Dolores. Hale seemed to be losing herself Dolores seemed to be the Dolores inside Hale seemed to be losing herself and sinking into her role too much. And I'm wondering if that's the case with Connells and with Musashi as well. Like, those people, the Doloreses in those bodies. So I'm curious. Yeah. Anyway, Dolores and Caleb run a fun infiltration where Dolores got that one guy's blood to get Caleb an authorization code, essentially. Really tense, but I figured it'd work. Kind of crazy that Dolores was just going to kill a bunch of people if it didn't. And they wound up stealing all of Liam's money, which seems like such a huge fortune. And Bernard and Ashley did their best to foil Dolores' plan, mistakenly thinking that she had replaced Liam, which was the assumption I probably would have made too, since I'm guessing they didn't understand his dynamic with the business side of things, and that Connells is the one really in charge. But yeah, really, really fascinating. They all see him bidding on those sex workers. It's interesting because it seems like it's all over the table, like nothing illegal. The sex workers are registered, their health is checked on, the money goes to charity, and I'm assuming some of it goes to the sex workers themselves. There's still a stigma around them, as Liam clearly showed, calling them by the the word starting with a W, but it does seem like a safer situation for sex workers than the current state of affairs. Then again, this is high society, so whatever is done, I'm sure, is for the sake of the rich. Those who are not in the same social class might not have the same safety. We don't know how registration's done. So, I mean, we've seen that this is a better world for a lot of people. This is the perfect world crafted by Rehoboam, but at the same time, we saw Caleb, he's suffering so much, they just wrote him off as someone who's going to commit suicide, and they're like, yeah, it's okay, it's fine, this is the way it's going to work. So I'm assuming a lot of people fall through the cracks, and yeah, anyway. Liam getting to see Dolores again, though, was a lot of fun. Hello, lover. I really wish we could have seen his reaction more at the end right there. His mind must have been so blown. But what is Dolores' plan now? Like, how is reaching him a part of her plan? Because she wants to get to Serac, but how does getting a hold of Liam help at this point? Speaking of Serac, though, I haven't even talked about him in Maeve. Serac offers her a path to go back to her daughter through Dolores, but the thing is, he doesn't even want to go after Dolores because he thinks she's a threat to humanity, which I thought was the whole point. He's doing it because he views humanity as his own worst enemy, and he wants to get out in front of it. He created Rehoboam supposedly to do that, but Delos/Ford/Arnold were able to get an even more comprehensive picture of the human mind, and so Serac wants to get Dolores to get to that so that he can predict what's going to happen and prevent things from happening. I think he's underestimating Dolores, though, if he thinks she's not the real threat to humanity. Humans are pretty dang horrible, but Dolores is she's a threat too. I guess it does make sense, though, given his history, because Serac took Maeve to Singapore, and Maeve was saying that he could have at least taken her to Paris. Singapore is hella nice even now, but he says that Paris is gone, destroyed. It's just not even there anymore. So humanity destroyed his hometown. I'm guessing a nuclear attack based on disappearing in a blink of an eye. Which, what the heck, humans? I'm not looking forward to... I hope... At this point, so many countries in the world have nuclear weapons. I'm hoping none of them get launched ever again. But at the same time, he wants a more advanced picture of the human mind, a more comprehensive picture. But with the way the way things currently are with Rehoboam, something that he created, there are people like Caleb. Like, we already see what it had planned for Caleb, so what more evil could he wrought with an even more comprehensive picture? If it reveals an even more ridiculous path that throws more people to the wolves for the sake of human advancement or whatever, he would do it. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully he does not get his hands on it. And at the same time, I guess I'm still kind of rooting for... It's odd because I'm rooting for the destruction of humanity because it's a TV show. If it's real life, obviously I don't want Dolores to kill us all, but because it's a TV show, I'm like, I want to see Dolores win. I want to see her... Yeah, I want to see her destroy, beat Serac and take over the world, kind of. And leave our favorite human characters around. But... yeah, Maeve got stabbed while in that fight against Musashi. I guess if I was Dolores Sashi, do I call her Dolores Sashi? Musashi? Dolores Sashi, I definitely would have tried to take Maeve with them as they made their escape. I'm sure Serac has a copy of her mind somewhere, but having access to Maeve might offer new opportunities to Dolores, and it seems odd that she didn't take her. But yeah, that whole scene with Maeve tracking down the mortician and cutting her way through everyone was a lot of fun, because it's interesting because her powers are no longer as strong in a world that's not filled with hosts, but she's still a force to be reckoned with. And I guess she couldn't use her powers on Dolores Sashi, or she would have, but she has the ability to hack practically any technology with just her mind, it seems like. Super useful in and of itself. She was able to mess with the mortician's earpiece when she tried to call for help, and she also opened the gate straight to the Yakuza. And she's also good in hand-to-hand combat, I'm guessing, because she cranked it up at some point. Yeah, really enjoyable episode, I think. The big reveal this episode was oops, all Dolores. I'm going to give this episode a 9, though. Just really looking forward to how this all plays out and how this war continues. We're halfway through the season already. It feels like no time at all. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Caleb continues to play into it and how his relationship with Dolores progresses. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I enjoyed this a lot. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you want to watch the full reaction or episodes a week early, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, friends.